Welcome to this live broadcast. I am Tom Boyer.
I am Uchuma Odem. Talk to us on all our social media platforms at KBC Channel 1, hashtag World Cup Eco KBC.
That's right. We begin with our lead story now. The government will commence restitution of victims of protest who were injured, maimed, or killed from the year 2017.
Speaking after receiving a framework for reparations report for victims of human rights violations from the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights, President William Ruto said his administration has allocated 2 billion shillings towards compensation to benefit both victims and law enforcement officers who suffered injuries during the protest.
Well, leaders who attended the event called for the review of Article 37 of the Constitution on the right to assemble and demonstrate.
Abdiaziz Hashim begins our coverage tonight with this report.
Kenya has witnessed countless demonstrations and other violations of human rights in election cycle, with reports documenting that over 200 have died, hundreds more injured, and property worth millions of shillings lost since 2017 alone from politically related violence.
The Commission has so far verified and obtained consent from a total of 1,101 victims across 6 categories of violations, which include death, that's the right to life, which has about 245 victims.
Based on the sad state of affairs, the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights on Monday handed over a framework for reparations for victims of human rights violations to President William Ruto at State House, Nairobi.
One good friend of mine told me, you know, if you go this journey, you could easily be taken to The Hague because you are actually admitting that your government and those others have committed crimes. But so be it.
The protests that took place between June and July of 2025 has costed the country a whopping loss of about Kenya shillings 3 billion.
The head of state announcing that the government has allocated substantial amounts of funds to support the affected families.
We have already allocated Kenya shillings 2 billion towards compensation and reparation for those who have suffered verified harm.
Assisted by its AI integrated case management system, and will be in a position, Your Excellency, to begin making payments in as short a time as a week from today.
There are not many, Your Excellency. There are only 1,000, I think, the MCAs, the MPs, and everybody. But how can they make our lives unbearable?
Because if you use a bullet, that bullet is bought by the wananchi you are killing.
Key leaders who attended the event called for the reform of Article 37 of the Constitution on the right to assemble and demonstrate.
To develop this law that will operationalize and protect the rights guaranteed under Article 37.
That we've already put up a team to draft proposals on this particular article.
We will support for the betterment of our country.
Tunataka tujue hii haki hii ambayo iko ndani ya katiba, Wakenya wataifurahia vipi?
Because the act of demonstration is to make your point known, not to disrupt life.
Sometimes the greatest frustration by police officers is that they arrest someone on site. There is a camera showing that this person has banned Kikuyu law courts. What does the court do? They offer fines of about 5,000.
The Kenya Kwanza leaders also took a swipe at the opposition for politicizing the unfortunate incidents recorded since 2024.
And then be assisted by the police to carry out the demonstrations and say what they don't like and go home in the evening. That is the dream of this country. The millions of Kenyans who have nothing to do with politics.
And let's accept our sins. I know whom we used to complain about when I was in the street. And today is the same person who's telling me I'm reforming this country.
Meanwhile, President William Ruto has assented to the Division of Revenue Bill 2026, paving the way for county governments to receive 428 billion shillings in the 2026-2027 financial year. Tomorrow, President William Ruto is expected to attend the G7 meeting in France. Abdiaziz Hashim from State House Nairobi, Prime Edition.